This is Sexy Funny Raw, where we chat all about the world of sex, from dating and relationships all the way to the adult industry itself. I'm Silvia Saige, and this is my Pornspective, answering all the questions you weren't even brave enough to ask Google. Get ready, because Sexy Funny Raw starts now.
Hello, hello, hello. I am Silvia Saige. Welcome back to another episode of Sexy, Funny, Raw. I am joined in studio, of course, by my co-host, Dr. Eddie, giving us his public health perspective. Thank you, Dr. Eddie. So excited to be here. And in studio with us this month is actor, comedian, and chef, Mr. Dan Faustian. I've been saying it right this whole time, and I fucked it up just then.
Hey, you got it the second time.
Okay, I got it. We're there. This week, you guys, we have a very interesting subject, and one that, of course, plays into my profession itself. And we're talking about pornography and its effects on men, right?
Oh, yeah, there's no shortage of that.
Obviously, we know that more men watch, or at least claim to watch pornography, admit to it, let's say that, than women do. So what did we say? It's 76% of men have claimed to watch porn or somehow get their sex education from porn, as opposed to 41% of women.
And these are based on surveys that they've emailed and sent out. So some of these studies, it really just depends on who's asking and who's
answering.
Yeah. So 76% of men have watched porn and 33% are liars.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, basically. Because at some point you've stumbled across something. Even if pornography is not like your main source of entertainment.
You would probably designate, when you're designing those kinds of questions for surveys, you'd probably say within the last week, within the last month, within the last year.
Got you.
Right? So there might be a group of men that haven't watched it in the past day, month, week, year.
Right.
And so those wouldn't qualify. And so it just depends on what kinds of questions we're asking and how we're asking them.
Yeah. But regardless, it is definitely a bigger place. A bigger part of men's lives than it is women per se. And I feel like it's the same with where they're getting their education when it comes to sex. Is a lot more men are getting what they're wanting to do in the bedroom from porn, which of course can be so troublesome because porn isn't necessarily designed from a female's orgasmic view. It's more I would say porn is I always say it's like an artistic illustration of what sex is, because it's not a true illustration of what sex is. There's so much that we do in pornography that is for the camera, the fact that we don't lube up in front of you, that is mind blowing to me. But we just assume that women are instantly wet, and they are absolutely not. A big part of a woman even being able to accept a penis into her vaginal canal means she should be excited in some way in order for that to open up and her to be able to enjoy that. But we don't show that in pornography. So we're skipping over so much. And of course, we always show a blowjob, but how often do you see a man performing fellatio onto a woman in pornography? It's not... Cunnilingus. It's not that often, though.
Right.
And so I just feel like there's so much... I hate to say it, but there's so much damage being done to our young men coming up sexually because you're just learning things that are a male perspective and not necessarily a female perspective. Do you feel like you got your sex education from porn?
I mean, I'm so glad we're talking about this, because the first time I saw porn, I think I was like 8 or something, and like my babysitter took me and my little brother to a family reunion. We meet her little cousin, and he's like, check out what I got. We go upstairs, go under his uncle's bed, whips out a Playboy.
Yeah.
Blew my fucking mind.
Right.
I'm like, holy shit. Like, boobs, vagina, what the fuck? Like, you're blown away. But like, I never saw any actual videos or anything. Yeah. So my first sexual experiences were like, oh, how can I make my girlfriend come? And I'm like,
But you were even thinking about her coming?
Absolutely.
That's a step up from what I know a lot of men to start out in sex, because I don't think a lot of men are like aiming for a female orgasm.
No, see, I'm strange because if she's not having a good time, I'm not having a good time.
Well, that's not strange. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know.
But, okay, so let's back up just a little bit. 'Cause
Okay.
There's a couple of different layers that I think are pretty important here.
Peel them back.
So
Peel it back.
we don't necessarily educate people on sex education at all.
Right.
So
our
the-
school systems in general. Right.
In general, especially in
Yeah.
this country. So since we don't get really any kind of sex education, and some states it's abstinence only, which create a variety of problems. So since there is none, porn or the adult film industry ends up being the only teacher. So the impact on adult men is going to be quite different than on young men and
Yeah.
young kids. For young kids, I would say, and certainly the literature kind of backs me up here, suggests that if you're learning these things as what's to expect, it creates a problem when you're trying to do it in real life. Right? And the behaviors that are often being shown aren't conducive to like social relationships, engagement, relationships, or romance in general. Not to mention that there's no stimulus of the clitoris in most adult films, or none of that focus that you're talking about, Dan, on the woman is usually happening. It's usually vaginal oriented, where somehow the myth of the vaginal orgasm is going to happen.
Yeah.
And it really becomes about the man being satisfied. And that's the lens that's being used in a lot of the adult film industry. And that creates a problem, especially for a younger generation, because that's the expectation.
Right.
But then when the expectation doesn't meet up with reality, we have some problems.
Yeah.
And we have like aggressive behavior sometimes for our younger people.
Well, I guess that's my question to Dan then, is because when you said you were always looking for ways to please your girlfriend, had you at this point seen pornography? Like, had you seen videos, or did you just know in your head that there was this magical orgasm place you could get to with a woman?
I mean, I had seen Skinamax. Okay, so this is a different subcategory
Yeah.
of
Sure.
porn. So,
Soft
wait
core
till mom goes
porn.
to bed.
Yeah.
Click on the HBO.
Yeah.
And then, and like, it was kind of whatever you got.
Yeah.
The
whole
and like,
generation.
yeah.
Yeah. We all grew up on that, for sure.
That real sex
Yeah.
show where
Yeah.
it was just like
Absolutely
a
stunning.
little too real.
Yeah.
I'm like, these people have sex.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
But then, once you get to college, you get that laptop and then everything's free. It's like, what the hell?
Did you feel overloaded by porn in college?
I mean, yes, but also you do have a roommate in your dorm. So
Yeah,
it's kind of
true.
like, when can I? And I also lived in the frat house. So it was like, if I did really want to watch porn, I have to like go to that one bathroom.
That everybody else watches porn in?
No.
Oh.
This is my-
You'd be
my
surprised
special
what guys
bathroom.
do when others are sleeping now, right? There's like those
Yeah.
things, those lines you don't cross that you do cross.
Yeah.
Dan, you're always in that
happens
a lot.
basement bathroom for like
Yeah.
25 minutes, man. Dude, it's peaceful down there. Why you bring that lotion with you? Relax,
Lotion
Tyler.
and a laptop down to that bathroom.
Getting some work done, and my skin is dry. So fuck off. Fuck off. Good times in Kappa Sig, man.
I think for adults, on the other hand, it does kind of present some problems, right? Because what we're getting from adult films can often be so much stimulus. Whatever it is that you're interested in, regardless of what that is. Sometimes our partners in real life can't live up to that expectation.
Well, let's talk about that. So when you say like extreme amount of like penetration, I'm thinking of like, I love a DP scene, like a double penetration scene where I have one in my ass and one in my pussy. And for me, it is like fireworks going off in your body. It is so uncontrollable. It's so nice. But like, when in real life am I going to be like, hi, boyfriend, that really cute friend of yours, do you mind if he fucks me in the ass while you fuck me in my pussy? Like, that is a scenario that is so unlikely in real life. But
I got
it
asked
is
to do something like that.
fantastic when it is happening in pornography.
We recently had an episode on cuckolding.
Yes, yeah, but they're not joining. They're just sitting in the corner.
They can join though.
Well, they
Right,
can,
there's no
but it doesn't
limitations
always
on that.
happen that way.
We make our
I'm
own
just
rules.
saying.
Get your cuck
Yeah.
ass back in the corner.
But what I'm saying is in porn, but that's just it. In porn, we're creating these scenarios that aren't necessarily like going to happen in your everyday life. I've done a 9-person orgy. When in real life am I going to be around 9 people who want to fuck me? Okay, every day. But
Come over on
I'm just
Sunday.
kidding. No, but when is it actually going to happen? When you're going to find 9 people who are, one, all tested and ready to go, willing to swap cum and swap spit, you know? Like,
gonna happen.
it's not an everyday scenario,
That's
though.
what we hope. Maybe.
But what I'm saying is it's creating these unrealistic expectations. And a lot of times when in pornography, like, we're doing a lot of like opening up to the camera. So the positions that you think we're doing aren't necessarily even good positions or comfortable positions.
Definitely.
They are porn positions.
Best angle.
Yeah, they're camera positions.
That becomes what some people want and expect.
Yeah.
And so when we're getting when we're not getting what we want and expect,
Yeah.
right? Of course, that's going to have an impact on our potential erection or our engagement in the mood and the scene.
Yeah.
And men are sensitive to those kinds of things.
Yeah.
When it comes to engaging in sexual behavior, so this is where it absolutely can become a problem for adult men,
Yeah.
as opposed to young men, right? Young men, when you learn bad behavior, those expectations are set from the beginning. It creates different problems.
Mm-hmm.
But for men that are married and stuff, like your partner might never be able to do that DPC, right? And so all of a sudden, if that's the only thing that's now turning you on,
Yeah.
like that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Right? And so certainly you can do a lot of the things that we've discussed across the episodes, right? Where you can spice things up and keep things interesting, try different things. And we always encourage everyone to try things.
Of course.
With consent.
Yeah.
And with all of those important pieces. But porn in the adult films certainly has a role to play there.
Yeah.
Because the expectations don't match reality.
So an interesting fact that you found in here, Dr. Eddie, is I saw that was men who watch a lot of pornography are less likely to be satisfied in their real sex lives.
So, so the few studies...
Dan, are you feeling like you're in trouble here?
Take it away.
Only the 10th time since we've been here.
But I mean, I can kind of see where that's true. So a good friend of ours, Enrique, actually, he tells me all the time, he's like, I don't watch porn at all. He was like, because I don't want it to ruin when I actually have sex. And I can kind of see that, but I also view porn as like it's a nice visual stimuli, you know, like
Definitely.
I mean, I like having sex with somebody where porn is on in the background, mainly because I'm
Never
like,
can get a girl to do that.
what? Never, ever?
I've just never even. I think I brought it up once, and she was like, "No."
I would say, especially to that specifically,
Yeah.
there's certainly a community of people where they have to have it on, where you have to be watching that stimulus
In order to get them there.
because it's less about the partner that you're doing it with and
Yeah.
more about that extra stimulus, and it becomes a dependence on it. And so that's absolutely an area
That's
where it goes
worrisome, really?
If it becomes a need,
If
that
it's a
you
need.
can't, and so
Yeah.
there is a subset of people where that's absolutely a reality.
Interesting.
And so that's exactly how it's impacting.
Yeah.
Like,
Some
how am I
people-
going to pretend you're Jamin Jameson if
there's
I'm not watching Jenna Jameson?
Yeah, right. That's awful. See, okay, that's different. If it's because he like cannot get off with just me, now that's different. But I definitely have been with people who like we've just enjoyed on in the background, almost of like ooh, do you see what they're doing? Like maybe we
Yeah.
like let's switch that up and like
It just
try.
makes me feel at home.
Yeah, try something a little. It does make
It's
me
like
feel at
warm apple
home.
pie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I guess that's also because I'm not threatened by pornography because I work in it. So I know even before I got into pornography, I was very threatened by porn and threatened by my man watching porn. I remember one time I woke up in the middle of the night and my boyfriend and we had sex before I went to bed, and then I woke up to him masturbating and having porn on. I was fucking livid. I was first off, I was hurt. So I just felt like I didn't do enough for him, and like maybe it was my fault. He needed to watch more porn. But now
But it
looking
had
back,
nothing to do with you.
now looking back, it had nothing to do with me, and I wouldn't think the same way. But because I didn't have my knowledge of porn that I have now, and my existence in pornography, obviously, like now I would have a different mindset about it. But I definitely
He's
understand
like,
women
"Oh,
being
good, you're
threatened.
up. Come over here."
Yeah,
me out with this.
yeah.
There's also the understanding of how men relax and what men
Yeah.
have been doing over the course of their whatever.
Oh, for sure.
Right? So masturbation is often a way to release tension,
Yeah.
be able to go to sleep and relax. And so it plays a bunch of roles.
Yeah.
And it has less to do with watching that pornography, even though you just had sex, and
Yeah.
more to do with needing to potentially get off again so that
Yeah.
they can relax.
No, I get that now.
Right? Well,
yeah.
but it's not a common complaint.
Yeah.
Certainly not if we're outside of the industry, right? Like
Yeah.
a bunch of us are surrounded by the adult film industry often, and we have these conversations constantly. But in those environments where that's not the norm, we
Yeah.
just need more people to watch this. That's
Yeah.
what we're saying. But for those that aren't around these kind of conversations, it could certainly still be threatening because
Yeah.
it becomes about,
Of course.
I'm not satisfying you, which might be the case.
Yeah.
That's a whole different kind of thread there too. But it's probably about trying to relax and needing to get to sleep, and you've masturbated every night before bed all of your life.
Yeah.
And that's probably what you're going to end up doing, and there's nothing wrong with that. You should still do that.
Yeah.
But maybe talk about it with your partner so that these conversations are part of the everyday, right?
No, I
I
agree.
think it's a catch-22 though, because like I feel like a lot of people watch porn because they want to see that aspect of sex that they can't get in real life, whether it's double penetration,
The fantasy world.
a small person, a 9-person orgy. You can't.
Yeah.
That like
You can't
those
create
things are
those.
hard to get by.
Yeah.
So you.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of like porn's like a chocolate cake. You shouldn't have it all the time.
Yeah, I get that.
But like a little bit every now and then.
Yeah.
Could be. It's
I mean, Pornhub is definitely saved on one of the favorites on my phone. So, I mean,
Ooh, she's
Nice.
watching on the phone.
yeah. I mean, yeah, in bed, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's easy. It's transportable.
Yeah.
You know?
Not the 57.
My computer's
Yeah,
next.
yeah.
My computer's next to my bed. Now I'm too lazy. Watch porn on my phone now.
iPads, people.
Yeah.
iPads, no.
I
cozy.
actually don't ever know that I've watched porn individually on a big screen, other than like when I was a kid watching late night HBO and stuff like that. I don't think I've ever actually put porn on myself on a real TV. I don't know. That's a weird shame thing I think
Really
I might
large
have.
TV, so-
Well,
Do you put it on there?
No, because it's in the living room.
Yeah.
And it'd be super weird.
Also, yeah, I've like
It is weird.
I've had fans send me like I'm not even lying to you. This was I shredded the photo, but like just my asshole blown up on an 8x10. It was strictly my asshole, and I was like, "Who does this?" And I was like, "This is what 4K is on these fucking 72 inches. You just got my asshole the size of your fucking face to dig through.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I
You
don't
can't really
need
tell what
porn
it
that
is. You're like,
big.
is that on a person?
Yeah, I
or-
don't need it that large.
There's
It doesn't
just so
need
much
be
to
it.
unpack there.
Well, I used to I told you guys I was in a fraternity, but we used to, during rush, you'd go hang out at other frats to be like, oh, which ones do I want to pledge?
Yeah.
And some of the weird ones would have porn playing on in the chapter room.
Just randomly on in the back.
I'm like, why? It's normally football, guys, but just
Whatever makes you feel comfortable,
10
man.
guys like sitting around just like watching this girl just get plowed. It's like, this is weird.
Well, we can probably argue that strip clubs certainly have played that role for us.
Yeah.
Right? There's probably been a movement away from strip clubs in some cases.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
But where a bunch of guys are like, oh, I don't want to go with my friends to go watch a
Yeah, I get that.
and have a steak or whatever the norm is now.
Yeah.
Which is super weird too.
Yeah, I don't. No one should be eating at a strip club. Let's just
It's pretty
preface
common.
that.
When I was in grad school in New Orleans, I would be walking my dog like at 6 or 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
And so that's often when all the strippers were walking their dogs because they just got off work. And so we'd always just be talking at the dog park.
Oh my God.
And they would tell me, that people are eating all night while they're up there dancing, and it really just grossed some people out.
Yeah, I don't. I
'Cause,
couldn't.
like,
At least there's food in New Orleans, so it's good shit.
well, I mean, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Naked people and food. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's its own thing.
yeah. Or in a
Gumbo and
hotel.
a lap dance. It doesn't
Gumbo
work.
and a
Let
lap
me move
dance.
the
yeah.
T-bone real quick.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. That's
I'm sorry, honey, you have mashed potatoes on your heels? I don't know.
Can I just pour this gravy on your tits? It's like, sir, you gotta go.
So I do know that we're obviously making it almost like a negative that, like porn is necessarily not a good, healthy thing for men growing up. But I think we need to be very careful in the fact that it can be very healthy and that there are pluses to pornography and there are pluses to watching pornography. The inclusivity that is included with porn from, all races and all sizes, whether it be transgender or gay. I know I personally work in bisex, so I'm like very in with like everybody. So I think having that exclusivity and having categories where people can search that they wouldn't necessarily be their type in a regular world, but you can go down rabbit holes searching for these people, and like you can kind of explore and have an understanding for different people and different sexual kinks, and that's finding your kinks and finding the things that turn you on that you wouldn't necessarily know. I always say when I got into porn, I learned so much about my own sexuality because I was the try once every try everything once kind of gal. So I learned so much about it, whether it be being into feet or like just little things like just trying things.
How you like to get off.
Exactly.
Definitely. Because if you've only had it one style, because whatever the person is, Bobby, right? Because Bobby only knew how to do it missionary, and that's all you've ever known, then you don't even have any opportunity for exploration.
Well, and masturbation is so key to your own like sexual 110%. Knowing what gets you off, and then knowing how to properly communicate that to a partner as well.
Probably the most important thing that we cover in this.
Yeah,
right, for sure.
100%. But get out there, masturbate. Touch your own stuff and figure it out. I think that's the key for me.
And not all porn is bad, and
it
has a bad rap and it has a lot of stigma, but there are a lot of positives from it.
Absolutely.
And so just to be conscious that, like the chocolate cake that we were talking about earlier, like you can't have it all the time, maybe, and maybe we shouldn't, and maybe we're overexposed, and maybe that's a different kind of conversation.
Yeah.
How many times a day is too much?
I mean, well, that's going to depend
Asking
on the person.
for a friend. Okay.
Well, but are we talking about masturbation, or are we talking about watching porn?
Watching porn.
Right? And so, do those go together? Is there a dependence on being able to get off while you're doing it? Like,
do you need porn on in the background at all times?
Important
I
questions.
just sleep to it. I put it on like white noise.
You like to it be the first thing you hear.
I have great dreams.
Honestly, though, have you ever heard somebody in the hotel room next to you fucking and you like get turned on because you're like, oh my God, I wish I could be fucking right now. And then you're like, get it. I've masturbated to hearing other people fucking in a room next to me.
You just knock on the door.
Am I the only one? Is that just me? Yeah.
I'm here.
You are not the only one.
Okay, good.
And then you see who they are and you're like, bye.
Yeah, just kidding.
Sure,
I did not want to join in on that.
People are doing that too.
Yeah.
But it's also kind
Is there a pineapple on their door? Can I get in here? What are we doing?
Make your fantasies reality.
I mean,
everyone, right?
you never know.
Sure.
Yeah. What were those books called where you could make your own?
Follow your own adventure.
Yeah, follow your own
Goosebumps?
adventure books. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you could like this ending, flip to page, whatever. All right, that's what it is. All right, we're making our own adventures, people. That was what we suggest. Watch more porn, watch less porn wherever you're at in the world. It's gonna bring you a few good things. Don't make it your only source of education. Get out there, maybe do some crowd research, maybe talk to a few people, find out what they actually want in the bedroom instead of just getting it from a porn set. That would be key.
Probably educate our kids too. It's such a hard conversation to have. But like, if kids are prepared for it, it almost becomes like a porn literacy.
And they're not scared of sexuality.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like these things aren't bad. They're part of like the normal part of growing up, and masturbation is a part of it. And when is appropriate to do it is probably a good conversation.
Yeah.
But like you don't have to get into the nitty gritty, but knowing that things exist and knowing that it's a part of growing up and exploration is okay. I think all of those things matter, and the only option is for us to teach the kids because schools aren't doing it for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
We can't get it anywhere else. Porn is not all bad, but we need to maybe combine it with some real education.
Yeah.
So that it's not only bad in a lot of eyes.
Yeah.
Because it's not only bad. It brings a lot of good and happiness.
Yeah. And mental health wise and physically, like all of the things. Yeah. Sex is such a good thing. I love it. And if you do it right, could change your net worth as well. So
that was very specific. Okay.
All right, guys. Dr. Eddie, thank you as always for your public health perspective. Dan, tell people where they can find you.
Dan Faustian on Instagram, Hard Lemonade on Instagram. That's the show I run. And my podcast is Line Cook Energy on Instagram.
Beautiful. I love it. All right, guys. Until next time. Adios.